Hi there, my name's Geoff Bowes. I'm one of the 5 celebrities taking part in Grey County Reads. So the book I'm defending is called Steal Away Home by Karolyn Smardz-Frost, and it's non-fiction. I suppose I'm one of the celebrities because I wrote a book too, and it is also non-fiction. My book is funny. Karolyn Smardz-Frost's book isn't funny at all. It's a very moving account of Cecilia Reynolds, a slave born in 1831 who escaped to Canada in 1846. The interesting thing about slavery is how little we all know about it. We've all heard of the Underground Railroad, but the general consensus is, oh, there was an Underground Railroad and these slaves managed to escape and live happily ever after. Well, in point of fact, the actual escape for most of these people was very short-lived. It was their lives after that were lived in a time and an era where laws and customs were based on white supremacy. So this very moving book is Cecilia's story, written by Karolyn Smardz-Frost. I forgot to mention, is an archaeologist first. So the story itself is 250 odd pages, and then there is a huge section of notes on chapters, all of which detail the myriad individuals who assisted in the Underground Railroad, all the names and dates of abolitionists and their work across our nation and Great Britain and even Australia. It was an astonishing network of people. In the vernacular of the 1850s, my knowledge of the Underground Railroad and the afterlife of the slaves who escaped is about as shallow as a slave's grave. I was not prepared for the depth of emotion that came out of reading the account of one person's life as she intermingled with so many other freed slaves and this huge struggle to survive. As things got worse, let me explain. We can be very proud that when slaves escaped to Canada, they lived a fully free life. They were accepted and integrated, as far as we know, well into society. There was not a particular emphasis on bigotry. There was certainly no segregation. That came later, after the Civil War, when there was deep resentment in the South over the emancipation of slaves, hence the rise of the Ku Klux Klan and stuff like that. We didn't have that. We can be very proud of that. In fact, people who lived on the Great Lakes edges were always fishing runaway slaves out of the water, helping them to Toronto, prompting one of them to say, "We're all abolitionists down here." I can't tell you how this non-fiction book, giving no emotion, not telling me how to feel, as a novel is prone to do, moved me, I won't say to tears, but it has certainly changed my perception of our nation, especially these days. So this, as I say, follows the story of one woman, but the people she comes in contact with in her life have equally moving stories, and they're all recorded in here as well. I can't recommend this enough as a very gripping read, but also a very informative read about a time in our history, probably the blackest time in our history, and should certainly be read and looked into, especially in the light of the uncomfortable, ugly time that we're looking at south of the border these days.